Hello once again, my name is Emmanuel Daniels. On this video, which is part of my Microsoft Excel dashboard presentation course, I'm going to show you how to create a histogram from a pivot table. Now you can look at the working folder 025, creating a histogram from a pivot table. Now a histogram is actually a frequency distribution chart, and which is required to be created from a single column of data. Now, if you take a look at this table here, you will see that you have various respondents with ratings. You have respondents with ratings, different ratings received from different respondents. And now we are going to create a pivot table. Now, to create a pivot table, you select any cell on this table here, and because this is not formatted as a table, it is an ordinary Excel list, so we are going to use the insert tab of the ribbon, and then you summarize with a pivot table. So now we are going to put it on a separate pivot table sheet, a new worksheet. Okay, now we can rename this sheet and call this data rating. Okay, now what are we going to, okay, we already have the same name. I have this name already. Let's call it pivot rating. Okay, that's a pivot table. Now we have our pivot table field list here. Now the only data that we need here is just the rating. We don't need the respondent. We only need the ratings here, and the ratings would be on the row field. And also we add this same on the value field. It will be count of ratings. So this is what we have here. So now we have our pivot table, and we can now create a pivot chart. So you select anywhere on the sheet. Let's call this is rating. Okay, select anywhere on the sheet, and then you analyze with a pivot chart. So the recommended pivot chart is actually a column chart. You can use a column chart here. So we say okay, and here you have the ratings. You have the count of ratings. So this is how to create a frequency distribution table, a simple frequency distribution table. Now you can see that Excel actually arranged in alphabetical order, but you can change the order if you want. Let's say you want very poor. You can type very poor here, very poor, and Excel will arrange it in that order. So the next one I want to use is poor. So you see that Excel will automatically arrange it. Before you have good. Okay, the next one is good, and then you have very good. Before you have excellent. So you can see how to arrange the field. Now let's look at another data. We have this data rating, and this is the result from our pivot table, and this is our frequency distribution table. Then let's look at this. We have scores, we have student scores, we have some students, and this is what they received in their exam. So now we are going to create a pivot table. Now this table list is not formatted as a table because you are not seeing the contextual tab here. So we are going to use the insert tab of the ribbon and summarize with a pivot table on a separate worksheet. So let's call this one pivot scores. Let's call this sheet pivot scores. Pivot scores. Okay, sorry, we are naming this sheet pivot scores. Pivot scores. Then this is your pivot table field list. Now this is how we are going to arrange our pivot table field list. Now the rating field will be in the column area. We're going to put the score in the column area. In the row area, we're going to put the scores in the row area, and we're also going to put the count of the score here. Count of the score. Change the value field settings. So you have the count of the score. And then we are going to create a frequency. We can group this data here. We can group this data. You can use a grouping. You right click, and then you right click any cell in the field and you group. So we are going to start from 1 ending at 100. Start from 1 ending at 100. Let's start from 1 ending at 100, and because the score falls within 100, an increment of 10. Okay, now this is what you have. You can now create a pivot chart from this frequency distribution table. So a column chart will do. So I believe you know how to format your chart. So this is how we can create a frequency table distribution chart, that is a histogram, from a pivot table. Now we are going to stop here on this video. I'm going to show you also how to tabulate survey results using a pivot table, and also create a frequency distribution chart from the survey results. Thank you very much for listening.